Before we get into today's interview, I want you to really think about what it takes to build something from nothing. Because the path isn't smooth. In fact, most people don't even take the first step.
You have no idea how hard this is about to be.
Brian Freeman, the founder and CEO of Employer.com, made the first step when he decided to walk away from stability.
Quitting my job.
And then faced challenges that no one could predict. The kind that forced you to decide what you're really made of.
And like 10 minutes later, COVID hit.
But what carried him through wasn't the timing or the luck. It was consistency, resilience, and the one trait that every founder talks about.
Good work ethic.
By the end of this episode, you'll understand what it truly takes to keep going when the world throws everything at you, and why some people still choose to build anyway. Let's get into it. Hi, Mr. Freeman. Thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, hey, see, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Let's see, I'm excited to get to talk to you. Sorry for the confusion. I didn't see one come through, but I don't know if the email, spam filter, junk filter, all that jazz is super aggressive.
It probably did. It's okay. But thank you for being here. I'm really excited to talk to you today. I've been learning about your work with EmployerAdvisor.com, and it's amazing to see how you've helped thousands of employees navigate healthcare benefits, insurance, and broker selection more transparently. I also think that it's inspiring to see you have taken on such a confusing industry and actually made it more accessible for businesses. I'd love to start by hearing a little bit about what inspired you to create EmployerAdvisor.com. Maybe we can start with what inspired your launch.
Yeah, actually, first, tell me a little bit about you. All right, what grade, what class, all that jazz.
I'm a junior and I go to Lambert High School. And I'm really interested about how you launched your business and what inspired you to launch it.
Yeah, that's perfect. I was at a big old health system with like hospitals all over the country, and all we were focused on was like, how can we make more money as a health system? Which, you know, like that's what businesses do, is really kind of focus on that side of it. But at the back end of it, have you ever had to go to like the doctor or to the hospital? And it's just kind of confusing.
Yeah.
And as you get older, like you get some bills from some people, you get bills from other people. You don't know what you're supposed to pay, what you're not supposed to pay, and like they make it intentionally complex.
Yeah.
There's kind of a joke of saying that the margin is in the mystery. I mean, like the way the companies can make a lot of their money is like when nobody's ever able to quite figure out or pin down where it is. That's probably where somebody's making a bunch of money, and that's kind of how the healthcare system works. Mm-hmm. So our goal with this is really like, how do we just take one step forward? It's probably like 10 different, very complex parts, but it's like, all right, can we just take one of these parts and simplify it for everybody that's kind of into the space? So that was our initial goal in there. What did I miss in there?
I think that was everything. That's great. Thank you. What do you think are some benefits of your company? Like starting the insurance industry, it can be really complicated. So when you first started out, how did you convince your employers and brokers and partners that it was like worthy and they should join?
That's a great question. You definitely have to create like a positive return on investment, like kind of a pitch to somebody. And really, we got out of the gates. We thought like this one thing was our idea and it was going to be awesome. And we started getting clients and there was a positive return on investment. But honestly, like the return wasn't as high as we were thinking it was going to be. And it was kind of super frustrating. Like we got almost up to $1 million in revenue, but we kind of kept bumping our heads and we couldn't get bigger than that. We had customers start churning on us. And honestly, we kind of had to figure out what was best to do. But inside of that, we actually heard from our customers saying, hey, this thing that you're providing, like, it's kind of valuable, but man, if you could just do this, which is like 2 steps to the right, this would be super valuable. Mm-hmm. So that's when we started kind of creating more of the transparency space and selling more on that side of it. And that's kind of when it took off. And like from an investor perspective, it takes a lot to stick with somebody when you're kind of going through a pivot. Like we went out with like kind of a business plan of this is what we're going to do. We're going to make a bunch of money. Then we had to come back after about a year and it's like, hey, it's not making as much money as we thought. But we think if we just shift just a little bit, we could actually get to where we want to be. But I need you to stick with me. it'd be great if you could invest in the second round. Like, I promise this is where it's going to be.
Yeah.
And like, he was awesome. Other people around the table were great to be like, all right, we trust you, but this next one better freaking work. So that's not quite exactly what you asked. You have to, prove a good return on investment or an ROI for everybody involved, and then kind of keep learning and keep adjusting.
Thank you. I also saw that I researched your career, and before employer advisor, you worked in like insurance and benefit spaces. How did your earlier experiences shape the way you approached employer advisor and your entrepreneurship and specific problems you wanted to solve?
Yeah, great question. I think it'll be fun for you in your career. Like, you get to kind of see the problems like up hand. It's like, oh, wait a minute. This is how we're making a bunch of money as a health system. Maybe this isn't the right thing for everybody else, but I know where we can go get the data, kind of help out the people on the other side of the problem and make their life easier. So it's kind of that experience, to your point, that helped us say, like, all right, hold on, this is how we can help to start solving this.
Okay, thank you. And in technology, especially AI and data analytics, it's changing how companies think about employee benefits. How do you see these new tools influencing the future of the industry? And how do you think employer advisor is going to use them to make smart decisions?
See, it's fascinating, like what you can build and how quick you can build something. It's almost scary. It's fun being like a company earlier, kind of in the second or third inning of our kind of overall life cycle, and like all of these tools now, because like we're competing against like these much bigger companies, but they've got to go slow and they've got processes and people and all that jazz. So like it's just fun with the technology wave that we can run as fast as we want to, as hard as we want to, which is awesome.
Okay. Looking into your milestones and what do you think, since you found employee advisor, what has been the most exciting, rewarding moment for you? Is there like a story to it? Or like, is this just one moment that you thought was like amazing for the business or just you?
And it's just kind of fun, the family side of the equation. Like when I first quit the job to start this, my wife was pregnant with our second child. And I just told her, like, hey, I've just quitting my job. And like just her being there and being supportive, like, I don't know if there was one single moment, but it just makes me so grateful for her throughout this whole journey. It kind of makes you a different type of a family, if that makes sense.
Yeah. That's really interesting too. Like you had to stop at like a point in your life where so much was happening and you had to restart a whole company, but you got there, so that's great.
It took us a little bit.
What has your experience been like as an entrepreneur working in the industry that's traditionally pretty old school? Have you ever felt like underestimated or pushed back, or how did you handle that?
Yeah, great question. These people in the industry make a lot of money. And they do it because there's not a lot of transparency. And then so when you show up and you're like, hey, we've got this new solution and we're going to show everybody how you all make so much money. You can imagine some people weren't thrilled with what we're doing. And we honestly had like a lot of people, like, I guess this sounds dumb to say, but like haters is probably the right term. We definitely had a lot of people like in the industry and in the space, like throwing mud at us as often as possible. Like, look how dumb this looks. Oh, they can't even get this right. Like, oh, this is a joke. Like you just kind of got to fight through that and you keep building. There's one huge company out there is a good example, like an insurance broker named Hub International. And when we launched in town, their Nashville people were like, honestly, kind of like making fun of us to our investors, making fun of us to our board, employees, etc. And you know what? Between the two, screw them. Slowly, we got one of the Hub International offices in California was like, hey, this is awesome. We'd love to be your partner. And we're like, great. So that one expanded into like the Hub West Coast region. And then the Hub Southeast region saw what they were doing in like Louisiana, Mississippi. And they're like, hey, this is pretty cool. Like, we should probably jump on this bandwagon too. And then another Hub division and another Hub division. So now every Hub division is using us at this point in time, except for this one last one from Nashville, who are jerks with us from the outset of the equation. So it's just fun. It's taken a while, but like we won. You know what I mean?
So
anyway.
Well, that's cool. When did you realize you wanted to do this? Like, was it high school or was it like after you graduated?
Good question. As smart as you are, the same thing's probably going to happen to you. I'm guessing you're going to get an awesome job when you come out of an awesome college, and you're going to be there for a couple of years, and you're going to be like, I've got an entrepreneurial itch. This is the thing I want to go start and do. And so that happened to me, and I was like, hey, I'm going to leave. This is what I'm going to go do. And I think I was making not very much money at the time, and they offered me like $10,000 more to stay. And to me, like, that was all the money in the world. I was like, yeah, absolutely, I'm not leaving.
Yeah.
Then, like 2 years later, I was like, all right, I'm going to go do this next thing. And I quit again. They're like, no. We'll give you another like $15,000 more to stay. And I was like, you can't turn that down. This is amazing. So I stayed. And so finally, by the third time, I was like, all right, I'm leaving. They're like, you got to go do this. Like, this is going to happen sooner or later. So I imagine you'll probably be in the same boat.
Okay, thank you. And and I know this whole thing is advice and I appreciate it, but is there any specific advice that you would give young entrepreneurs interested in solving these problems or joining this industry?
Yeah, I kind of just jump out the plane. Like, go for it.
Okay, thank you. And looking back a few years, when COVID hit in this industry, how do you think it impacted employer advisor or your work or like however you were working, what field you were in? Did it impact or change your view on anything?
Good question. All right, so check this out. We launched the company in like February of 2020, and like 10
Oh my
minutes
gosh.
later, COVID hit. So we had 4 investors at the time, and all of them were like kind of angel investors, meaning it was like kind of individuals writing checks out of their own bank account. It wasn't like, kind of a formal like some of the other partners. It was like
Yeah.
the person living next door writing a $50,000 check that was a lot of money to them.
Yeah.
And so COVID hits. 2 of the investors are like, pause everything. Do not spend any more money. Like, freeze, and let's figure out what this looks like in like 3 to 6 months. The other 2 investors were like, gas pedal down. Like, this means positive things. Like, let's go. So it was just, it was a funny phase of life through there, as you can imagine.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, you got to get through it. You were able to get through.
Thanks, awesome capital partners all along the way, and like just smart people. Very grateful for everybody that's been a part of this.
When you employ people, what do you look to find for the people you employ?
It's a good question. One of these kind of capital partners or kind of like money people along the way was one of the same ones that we have. It's a firm named Martin Ventures. So the CEO of that firm, we were talking about what we need to do, and he's like, honestly, this might sound a little bit too much. He's like, out of 100 people, there are going to be 5 that are rock stars. There are going to be another 20 that are good people to have on your team. And there are going to be another 75 that, like, if you find them on your team, move on. Like, there's just a core group of people that are awesome rock stars, and it's hard to find that group of people. And it's really just people with a good work ethic that want to put up points, that care, that hustle.
Yeah. So this has sounded really smooth flowing, relatively smooth flowing. Were there any like big challenges you can remember or you think you faced that has really impacted you in general?
Yeah, it's when you go through it, you have to raise money like at different points in time, and like just
Mm-hmm.
for like as a CEO type role, um, you kind of, you raise money and then you spend it, and then
Yeah.
you raise it and then you spend it. But can you like, with a wife and some kids and a house, as you're starting to kind of spend down on that money, like, and knowing you've got to raise money for the next round, like it's just always kind of like mentally on you about, there's just a lot of risk always around. It's just kind of getting comfortable with that risk. I know
Yeah.
that doesn't really answer kind of what you're asking for, but like that's kind of the.
No, that makes sense in
There's
general.
certainly a
There's a
lot of
lot.
risk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you could go back and give yourself advice at a certain point of time, your younger self or when you were starting out, what advice would it be?
That's a good question. We had a guy who joined our board, and he told me at one point in time early on when he invested and joined, and he said, I think one of the best things you have going for you right now is you have no idea how hard this is about to be. And only now in hindsight do I realize exactly what he meant. So I would just say, like, keep your head down, be grateful, pray, life is good, like it's all going to be okay.
Okay, thank you. And outside of work, what keeps you balanced? Like doing your work? Is it your family?
great question. It's I don't do a good enough job of like kind of separating those two things. I woke up yesterday morning on a Friday, and most people when they look down and they see it's Friday, they're like, "Oh man, this is great! It's a Friday." And I looked at my phone, I was like, "Oh crap! I wish it was like a Tuesday." Like at this point in time, it's just so much fun, and I enjoy doing it. That like I got annoyed that it's the weekend for 2 days, and like, we're not going to get to go do this.
Yeah.
Um, so I probably need to figure out a better way to find balance. But man, I am loving it. Like it was a lot harder earlier stages, but now that like people like the product, we've got a great team. It's
Yeah.
fun. Like I don't know, it's just a different phase.
Well, thank you. I appreciate this so much.
All right, well I enjoy talking. All right, well let's see. How did I do compared to anybody else? Who's your speaker? Yeah, if you need anything going forward, ping me or let me know if you had a question about something or if you want to start a project, let me know.
Okay, of course. Thank you. Bye.
All right, good luck on the golf course. Thanks, Ian.
Thank you.